So what we're saying, are we going to stick with the same wholesalers, or we're going to have a little shop around to see if anyone else can do a better deal on materials? Every electrician needs materials to do their job. And yeah, you can get like cheap kit so you can make a little bit more profit on the job. But in my opinion, that never sort of works out. And with over 3,000 electrical wholesalers in the UK alone, there's a huge variety for you to choose from. Because a lot of these wholesalers, they all have the same sort of kit in there as well. Like MK's a renowned kit and renowned material for what people, and the nice sockets to put in people's houses. So every wholesaler stocks them. So I did a little experiment with a few of the UK wholesalers. I got a price as an account holder, and then I also phoned up and got a price as like a Joe Public, as someone that's walked in off the street. I wanted to know whether it's still an advantage to have a trade account with the wholesalers, or is it exactly the same these days? ToolBox talks for electricians, helping electricians reduce stress, gain back time, and earn more money. Welcome back once again. My name is Ben Poulter, your host, and this was an interesting podcast to do research for, because I've stuck with the same wholesalers for quite a while now, and it's not always smooth run-ins with that wholesalers, but they always seem to be fair to me, I think. And normally I just pop to the wholesalers, I pop in there and tell them exactly what I want, maybe pop upstairs to have a little look to see what else I might need whilst I'm there. I don't really phone up wholesalers to say, can I have a quote list? So this was a good experience to phone up the wholesalers and say, look, I've got a few materials I'd like a quote for, to see how their customer service sort of was. And then finding out some of the ways that some of these guys or girls speak to you, whether the sales team, there's no wonder that I don't shop there. So the plan was to make up a job. So nothing too complicated as well, because I wanted to be able to order exactly the same materials from each wholesalers. So I thought a kitchen upgrade would do, just using MK socket. So I'll say that it will match the rest of the house. And I gave them a whole story saying, yeah, I'm doing my kitchen. So I could speak to them as Joe Public and say, this is what I'm doing. When I phoned up as Joe Public, I said that I'm a home owner and I'm getting the materials for an electrician. I'm surprised that none of them said, why can't the Sparky get his own kit? But they gave me a quote list anyway. So let's go into detail of what I actually asked for. I asked for 6 double sockets, MK sockets, MK logic to be exact, and then a cooker outlet, which obviously that doesn't matter what it is because it's beyond the cooker anyway, but I asked for the MK version of that, and then a 1 cooker switch, the one with the plug on that I wanted, because I know they're quite expensive, so I wanted to see what they were, how much they were in different wholesalers. And then I also asked for a 50-meter drum of 6mm 20 a pack of 6mm clips, plastic ones, because obviously there is metal ones out there as well, but I just asked for plastic ones. And then I wanted 7 35mm knockout boxes. The way that I was thinking is, if electrical wholesalers doesn't have this basic stuff, then they're doing something wrong somewhere, aren't they? So I decided to test at least 4 wholesalers. There was City Electrical, BED Electrical, Edmundson's Electrical, Screwfix, and Toolstation. Yeah, that's 5. But Screwfix and Toolstation are online. I don't think you get much of a discount having a trade account with them. So yeah, they're online. So I sort of bundled them both together. Over the years, as working as an electrician, I have got an account with, well, generally every wholesalers. So wherever I was working in the country, I can always easily go get some kit. So it was an advantage to me that I have an account at all these wholesalers, so I didn't have to set one up. So I could see if I could ring them up as an account holder and get a price. But when I called back as Joe Public, I did have to change my name. I was thinking of something cool like Joe Steele or something like that. But no, I just changed my surname and called myself Ben Martin. So the first wholesalers I called up was CEF, which is City Electrical. I think they're nationwide in the UK. They're quite big wholesalers as well. But the staff, when they answered the phone, it was very helpful. I think he was doing something at the time and he still answered the phone. He even ran upstairs and had to check what stock he had. And although that he didn't have the stock what I asked for, He told me exactly when it will come in. Come in. If he ordered it today, it'd come in maybe Monday or something like that. So he told me exactly when, and he could get hold of it, and he was able to give me a price. But they weren't able to give me a price over the phone. He said I'd have to check all the stock numbers, and I don't know what he said, but he gave me some jargon and said that he'd email me. So as an account holder, I obviously gave him my email address, and then I had to make another one up to be able to go as Joe Public. But I got an email from both of them from the quote of what it was as well. And the funny thing is, when I called up as Joe Public, I got a better price than I did with someone with an account. So, in my opinion, there's no point in having an account at CEF. Well, the next wholesalers that I phoned up was BED Electrical. They're relatively smaller, I think, than CEF because they've only got maybe, I think, 6 or 7 stores nationwide. But BED Electrical were the only ones that were able to give me a quote over the phone. And they were pretty quick to do it as well. Went there, they must have sat on their computer and give me a quote exactly in detail of how much things are going to cost. Again, these didn't have the cooker switches in, but they said they could get it ordered for next day. So that was a bonus as well. They were quite helpful. But here, there was a difference of £47.78. So this is what the public would pay more. So as a tradesperson with an account, you got a £47.78 discount in a way for the materials, which I'd expect from a wholesalers. I assume that as an electrician, the shop's there all the time, you'd get a bit of a better discount than Joe Public that might go there, I don't know, 1 or 2 times a year. Now, the next wholesalers that I phoned up were Edmundson's Electrical. And you must have heard, if you're in the UK, Edmundson's Electrical, I think, are quite big wholesalers and they are nationwide. But when I phoned up as a trade account, obviously my local wholesalers, I phoned them up with a trade account. And I also phoned up as a Joe Public sort of thing. But they were rude. Like the people in there, they're just, but the impression I got is that they wanted to maybe belittle me because I didn't know what I was on about as Joe Public. What you getting 35 mil boxes for? You sure you need them? And I'm, well, yeah, I want the space in the back. I had to explain to him why I wanted stuff. And then when I specifically said I want 35 mil plastic knockout boxes, he said, "Do you want plastic ones?" I'm like, well no. Maybe there's a question in there that, fair enough, he needs to ask as a salesperson. But everybody else knew exactly what I meant. 35 mil knockout boxes for a double socket. In my eyes, they're the metal ones, the metal sockets. So yeah, it was a bit of an arse, I'd say, on the phone he was. And the impression that I got from him, that I'm not surprised that they didn't even get back to me. They couldn't give me a price over the phone. They said they'll take my email, or they had my email. They read my email out to me because obviously I've got an account there. Whether he looked into it and said you haven't used it too much, well, it's not surprising you use it too much, mate. The way you speak to people, but yeah, I never heard back from him. I never heard back from him as Joe Public. I didn't hear back from him as Ben Poulter, an account holder. They just weren't interested. So I feel that they're a bit of a bigger wholesalers and they like supplying industrial and commercial. So unless you're spending thousands of pounds, they're not really interested in the small person. So yeah, I don't really use Eddies too much. And then after this experience, yeah, I probably won't be using them at all. So yeah, that's Edmundson's Electrical. I didn't have a very good experience with them. They didn't even get back to me. So then we move on to Screwfix. And I know that everyone hates Screwfix because of their cheap sockets and cheap lamps and switches. For a good reason, they are rubbish. They don't last 5 minutes. But they do, however, they do sell branded stuff as well, like the MK kit. And you can get everything you want from their website. And obviously, in my experience, you get the same price as a tradesperson as you do on the website. So I just went onto the website and clicked on the stock that I wanted, and they had it all. I could pick it up within 20 minutes. So that was a bit of a bonus. So then I popped onto the same, well, not the same website, but the Toolstation website as well. And I see on their website, if you open up a trade account, they'll give you 5% off everything for opening one up. Well, I'm assuming it was just on that first initial order. So they basically give you the same price on the website as what you do wherever, like if you're Joe Public. So I didn't do 2 quotes for that. And the website that I found on Toolstation was a lot easier than Screwfix because maybe you searched up MK sockets. what come below it? An MK cooker switch. So everything was relevant to it. It's quite a good website. I did that quite quickly, really. I run through the Toolstation website quite quick to get my quote on the order. And it was all, well, it wasn't all in stock, but I could order it and it'll come in next day, which I have had experience with Toolstation before. They say, yep, it's all in next day. And sometimes it never is. It's out of stock and you don't get hold of it. But this is the thing. This is why I would like to walk into a wholesaler's and say, right, I want that. And I'll walk out of it in my hands. Because if you got the job that you want to do that day, you need that kit ASAP. So now to start with the interesting bit. What were the prices? What did they come back with? Well, CEF told me it'd be the £169.45. That was at Joe as Joe Public as well. So that's quite a good deal. BED were £230.13. Eddie's, complete write off, didn't even get back to me. Screwfix, £146.72. And Toolstation were quite close behind them at 147.02. So between the most expensive, this is all as someone from the public that walks in as without an account. This was so, and this is all including VAT as well. So between the most expensive BED electrical, which was £230.13p, and the cheapest, which was Screwfix at £146.72, that's an £83.41 difference. And it's quite a lot, really, I think, because this was a small job, a few materials. While you are rewiring house and you want to go somewhere to get all your kit, I think these days I might get a lot of kit from Screwfix. So let's also look into someone who actually has an account at these wholesalers. Now, CEF come back to me with £190.39. Well, that's more expensive than Joe Public can get it for. So I'm lost for words there in a way. Don't know what the hell happened. Maybe it was a mistake, but yeah, I won't be going back there. And then BED gave me a price of 182.35, which was a little bit cheaper than 230, I think, as a tradesperson. And then Eddie's, yeah, obviously they didn't get back to me at all, even though I had a trade account. Like, they weren't interested. Screwfix, obviously 14672, and Toolstation 14702. Now, like I say, City Electrical gave me a higher quote as an account holder. So they in a way, they look after the public that maybe go in there and buy 2 sockets twice a year, rather than a tradesperson who comes in and, well, might buy 2 sockets every week. Something's a little bit wrong there. So if anyone works for City Electrical Factors, you need to rethink what's going down on that one, because something ain't right. And then BED Electrical, they did give me a £47.78 discount from what the Joe Public would get for being an account holder, but they still couldn't beat £146.72, which was Screwfix for exactly the same material list. So as an electrician who's been in the trade for over 20 years, that's quite a surprise for me, because I just go to that wholesaler all the time. I don't shop around because it's a convenience thing, isn't it? You can turn up, you can go to the counter and you've got it. But I think maybe I might spend a little bit of time to maybe just go on my phone and check on Screwfix, see if Screwfix have got it, especially branded content. Because well, I know that you get different brands of cable and different quality of clips that you use, but for the customer, they don't care about that. They're not interested. The cable you use, as long as it's British standard and it's got copper inside and the right colours, they're not too fussed. The clips, they're more likely behind a wall or covered in plaster anyway, so no one cares about what clips you use. So it's the finishing touches. It's like the MK sockets. As long as they're all the same brand and they look lovely and look nice and neat, that is what the customer's bothered about. So after this little experiment, I think I will be maybe shopping around a little bit more and maybe use Screwfix a little bit more for these common materials that I can get hold of, because I'll be saving myself a lot of money. And with how competitive things are in the market these days, you can save yourself money and your customers money. And that's just for maybe shopping around for some second fix materials if you're doing a rewire. because it could be down to maybe if you win the job or not. If you can save them on a rewire, I'm sure you could save a couple of £100 on maybe getting your second fix kit from Screwfix, or maybe bartering with your wholesalers to say, look, man, I can get this in Screwfix for five 5p cheaper or £5 cheaper. I don't know how much you would do, but sometimes that works. People do price comparisons or price matching. So the money you save on the job, especially on a rewire, I think you'd probably be able to save yourself 500 odd quid on materials on a rewire. So the money you save, you'll be able to make your life easier by buying yourself some new tools. Everyone likes new tools. So check out the podcast called Cool Tools That Are in Electrician's Tool Bag. I'll leave a link for that podcast in the show notes below. And then you let me know if this podcast has maybe convinced you to say, yeah, I might shop around a little bit more for my materials. Because if you save that little bit of money, I'll be able to get myself a new multimeter or a new bit of kit somewhere along the line. I like spending money. If you like new tools, because when you buy new tools and it makes your life easier, you wonder, how the hell did I live without them? So till next time, I'll see you again.